I am on my way to BYU, Utah, and then BYU, Arizona. This weekend, a massive weekend in college basketball. My flight leaves in a couple of hours to see you in Provo. It's going to rock. Here's a breakdown of everything you need to know about Big 12 basketball right now, the portal, BYU, Utah, and the like, from ESPN Salt Lake. This is a bonus Locked On Big 12.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Big 12. I'm Drake Toll from America's #1 Big 12 podcast, Locked On Big 12. Thank you for making this show your first listen every single day. You're sitting there like, bonus episode? I only come to this show so I can hear about Notre Dame coming to the Big 12. That is you. Sorry. This is the show for the everydayers. This is the show for those who are like, yeah, I like that podcast. I'm excited to listen to that podcast. I want more of that podcast. I joined the ESPN Salt Lake crew out west and gave them a huge rundown of what I think will happen in the Big 12 this week in basketball. Gave them a rundown of the transfer portal and all of it, Utah, BYU related especially. And you have it now. It's in your hands as a bonus episode. And I'll see you this weekend. I'll be there. Chubby's. At the mall? Chubby's? Yeah. Post-game show. I'm doing a live Locked On Big 12 post-game show from Chubby's after the game's over at like 5:30, I think. Whenever the game's over, I'm just going to go straight there to Chubby's. You should too. We'll all hang out. You and I will hang out. Why am I still talking? All right, guys, let's do it.
Hey, sports fans, welcome back. It's the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on YouTube. So glad you could join our show. Please like and subscribe. You know, all that stuff you do. We really appreciate it. Love what we do. And I'm really excited about my next guest. There are a lot of people I don't listen to, a lot of people that don't make any sense. But I really, really enjoy listening to Drake C. Toll. Of course, he's locked on the Big 12. He has a new program that on Westwood One, a big show. It's on Sirius, I believe, XM. Is that right? Yes. Yeah, and then the thing that I know all my guests are really interested in is the Savannah Bananas. Like that, if you talk about something that's down and dirty, it's the Savannah Bananas. Please explain to me what the heck the Savannah Bananas are.
Yeah, Scott, first and foremost, thanks for having me on the show. I'll be in Salt Lake this weekend in Provo.
Oh, nice.
Basketball, BYU, Utah, and then the Cougars, and they take on Arizona on Monday. So super excited to get out there. In the meantime, we're all banana ball right now here in Savannah. We reported yesterday for spring training. I know it sounds kind of weird, but Jackie Bradley Jr., Red Sox legend, World Series winner, is now a member of the Savannah Bananas organization. There are 6 teams total in the Banana Ball Championship League. We are rolling out 2 new squads in 2026 and playing venues as large as Kyle Field at Texas A&M, completely sold out. We'll play on Rocky Top in Tennessee, completely sold out. We'll play the Blue Field, the Smurf Turf in Boise, Idaho, sold out as well. It's not just the Bananas. It's the Firefighters, the Party Animals, the Texas Tailgaters, a myriad of teams that we carry with us that have a ton of success in this sport, and very excited for what 2026 is going to bring.
Okay, so this is an actual league, or is this just kind of exhibition? Yeah. Or it's very entertaining. The things that I've watched are really cool. It's
completely evolved, Scott. Like it began as a member. They were a member of the Coastal Plain League, which is just summer league baseball, like college players playing baseball in their 3 months off. And then it became, hey, let's split off, do our own thing, play some exhibition baseball, barnstorm around the country. Next thing you know, we're selling out NFL stadiums. And so now we've crafted our own league and broadcast a good portion of our games on ESPN, TNT, the CW. So the TV networks are flocking to the product. And yeah, it's grown effectively overnight.
Yeah, it's insane. So how long is the choreography? Like, who does all of that?
Me. It's one of my favorite parts, actually. We'll sit down on a Tuesday, usually on a Tuesday, in our OTT meetings, over the top meetings, and I'll say, hey, what if we do, like, we're going to Albuquerque this week, what if we do a Demi Lovato song about so-and-so, plastic doll, and she said something about roller skates and something about a hairdryer. And we have the guy sprint in from the outfield, lights are out, strobe on him. They throw him a doll and the hairdryer and the roller skates, and we bring props into this, bring the other guy. It create this big extravaganza out of a guy just walking to the plate. And then he hits a home run. We can't script any of the home runs. We can script entertainment pieces, and those guys make us look good every single night. It's really neat. It's a massive group think of how to build these shows.
Okay, but you're a big part of that.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't have to be. We have a broadcaster, another broadcaster for the Bananas, who he loves stats. He's the numbers guy.
Oh my goodness.
Loves building out the annals of history for Banana Ball. He could tell you in 2021 what a guy hit. You're like, wow, it existed in 2021, barely, but it did. He can give you those stats. For me, I'm super ingrained in the entertainment side and making sure each of our shows are unique. We do 10 to 15 new things every night in our shows that you've never seen on a baseball field before. We pride ourselves on that.
It's very entertaining. You got to check it out. I'm just telling you, it's great stuff. All right, the college football national title game was last night. Very entertaining, great game. What is it? What do you think it says about college football today and what happened? Indiana winning its first ever college football national championship.
Well, Scott, I think it certainly says that we're open for anybody's open for business to win. But Kurt Cignetti's the best worst thing to ever happen to college football. Reason being, SEC teams are going to fire their coaches at an alarming rate because you're not Kurt Cignetti. If you cannot win me a national championship in your first 2 years or compete in your first 2 years, Cignetti just proved you could do it at the worst college program in America. If you cannot do it with the resources of an Ole Miss, of a Florida, of an LSU, the leash just got a lot shorter for the sport. So that's the negative side of what you saw. The positive side is there will be guys like Kurt Cignetti who grow up their programs and win championships at schools like Indiana or schools like Texas Tech, schools like BYU or Utah that have the investment, the resources, and more than that, the developmental side, I should say. Scott, here's the deal. BYU, Utah, they both know this. Indiana knows this. It's not a matter of how many 5-stars you have, how many 5-star high school recruits, transfers that you have. It's a matter of how many 5-star college football players you've grown up on your roster. Yeah. So for BYU and Utah, they keep getting 3-star kids from Logan. What do they do with those? They create 5-star college football players, NFL talent, out of guys that were overlooked. Indiana's doing the same thing. Now that you give access to those programs to actual 4- and 5-star players, they still have that developmental side. They still have an expertise in that. Kurt Cignetti does, as do the staffs around the Big 12. And because of that, you're going to see some of these upstart programs really jump because they have the development and now they have access to better players with more money.
Yeah, I've watched this whole developmental process evolve over decades with at Utah and BYU, where they understand it's almost a science. They just know these kids to pick, and they can just almost project. This kid is the type we're looking for, and all of them don't pan out, but a lot of them sure do. They've become extremely successful in college football because of this process, and if you're able to add an extra talent into that, but you also have to keep them. You start seeing some of these, these kind of role players at Utah, BYU, and BYU didn't hardly lose anyone in the portal, but some of these role players, teams are snatching them up, and it's hard to keep them there. But it's certainly the right direction for sure.
Oh, today's show is brought to you by TurboTax. That's right, taxes are here. Taxes are back. But tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easy. TurboTax. Easier than ever to hand things off, move on with your day. TurboTax full service. You can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They'll handle everything. W-2s to self-employment forms. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local tax expert at TurboTax for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate. Get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. TurboTax.com/local. So,
do you think there's an expansion of the playoffs? Do you think the powers that be said after a couple of years, we like this 12 team? I know there's been a lot of talk about expanding it. But after seeing Miami, that was, questionable to get into the playoffs, you see Indiana, maybe an unexpected champion. Does that bode well for expanding, or do they want to contract it?
Once the toothpaste is out of the tube, Scott, we're done. There's really no going back with this. Reason being, we no longer need the best team in college football. Ohio State may not have been the best team in college football in 2024. What they were best suited to win a tournament-style format. They were best suited to outlast everybody else. Yeah, we lost to Michigan, but we didn't play a conference title game. We jumped back in, and were able to win in the postseason immediately. That's what you're looking for in a 12-team, 16-team, or 24-team format. So the Big Ten They want to prove that they've asserted their dominance in college football. They are asking for 24 teams. Greg Sankey with the SEC says really the furthest he'll go is 16, and he really doesn't want 16 because he expects to get 5 squads out of the SEC year in and year out. The rhetoric, the PR is still there for the SEC to be the best conference in college football, even though they are not 3 consecutive years without a team even in the championship game, much less winning the title. That says a lot about how good the Big Ten is today. That said, the Big Ten trusts it so much better than the SEC. They say, hey, if we expand to 24 teams, there are better odds. We get 6, they get 6. We get 7, they get 7. And we'll prove that we are that much more dominant than the Southeastern Conference. SEC wants to keep it small and controlled. Big Ten wants to open it up and prove that they're the number 1 league in the country. And the ACC and the Big 12, they're really being told right now just to sit tight, let it happen, and accept whatever we give you because those 2 conferences alongside ESPN call the shots.
Do you think that Dan Lanning brought this up? Do you think they change kind of the calendar of college football and that maybe they do away with conference championship games and they just start the playoffs, kind of go through the month of December for the playoffs and have the national championship game kind of, early January? Certainly seems like it would make more sense, but do you see, does that have some real legs to it? I mean, does an actual smart suggestion actually make sense? And is it something that they would do?
It doesn't make us enough money. That's the problem. That's the issue with this is ESPN and the networks that broker these things. They will drag it out. The NFL, they play now 17 games,
right?
Play the season in the mid-February. They look at college football and say, hey, look, if we're playing NFL game number 1 in the preseason August 3rd and then playing all the way till February 10th or February 14th next year, then we can do that in college football. Everybody just be quiet and let's go make our check. So I don't know if I see they certainly, if they should do anything, should cut the regular season short by a game or 2. We're seeing many more meaningless games of, Alabama's playing Wofford. We don't need that. And if we want to go to a 24-team playoff, we're going to have to forfeit something like that because the players just cannot sustain the way this model's going. They're playing deep into their second semester of college. And they hate it. The kids hate it. The coaches hate it. I think the viewers hate it. I watched the national championship game, and it felt like it was 5.5 hours long. Like it started 40 minutes late, and they just it was, hey, touchdown, commercial break, kickoff, and before the first play, commercial break.
Right.
They're teetering this machine toward the making money area of college football, and they're not going to come back.
I used to hate that, but when in the NFL, you go, okay, kick off the ball, and then it's like a TV time. It's like, come on, can we ever get on the field? That was really a bad thing. All right. Did you say Wofford? Does Wofford even play 11-man football? Is it 9-man? Which one is it?
I don't know what that. Maybe they got a 6-man. 6-man was popular in Texas. Maybe Wofford gets for that over there. Have
you ever watched like a 9-man football before? Have you ever watched one of those?
My last game broadcasting for ESPN Central Texas in Texas was 8-man, a state championship between, I think, Abbott and Oglesby at Jerry's World. So NFL stadium, 35 people collectively. And Scott, the weird part is the way they build the field, the 10-yard line of an actual football field is their touchdown.
Right.
So if they got to the 50, it was really the 40. So the play-by-play guy, I'm going the 40, the 30, but it's actually the 50, the 40. Oh, my gosh. It was a nightmare. But I've seen it. It was a nightmare.
All right. Of course, it's the national championship's over. So now it's the way too early predictions for next year. I always find these to be comical. You got a lot of Big 12 teams in the way too early. Texas Tech is, of course, in the top 10. I think BYU's right there. Some have them in the top 10, 11. There's Arizona State. There's TCU. You've got Utah is in some of these. I don't know if you've paid attention to any of this. Where do you think the Big 12 kind of lands next year as far as the teams? Are these the teams to watch for? Or is there someone that we might be missing?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing from the way too early rankings is the same thing we got last year, which is here are 18 SEC and Big 10 teams, and we forgot the Big 12. Throw a few in there, right. And they'll be ranked, that 19 to 25 slot outside of Texas Tech and BYU. Houston's going to be a force next year. I think Arizona can once again be very good and build off of what they had, the success they had in 2025. Watch out, though, the team that I'm riding throughout the offseason, Oklahoma State. They just did. If you're looking for the roadmap of how to build what Curt Cignetti did at Indiana. It's what Oklahoma State is doing, having taken North Texas roster and their coach, Eric Morris, brought him to Stillwater and said, okay, here, whatever we need to do to help you win, we'll do it. If that's more strength and conditioning coaches, fine. If it's more on-field staff, off-field staff, fine. If it's paying for big-time players from your old program to come to Oklahoma State, we'll do it. They are unloading the Brinks truck to compete. I think Oklahoma State's going to surprise a lot of people.
All right, Coach Prime feels like he's lost his spot on television and he's moved to Saturday morning cartoons. I just don't feel like you hear anything from Colorado. Is that is it a wasted opportunity? Does he ever make anything happen at Colorado? What's your thoughts on Colorado?
I don't foresee them winning more than 6 or 7 games in 2026. That said, the GDP of Boulder runs through Deion Sanders. What he has done from an admission standpoint, exposure standpoint, he has given them PR that you could not pay for. That would be millions, astronomical number. He is somehow underpaid because of what he's done to the GDP in that town. So he's got the longest leash in the world. He can do whatever he wants, and there will be no death blow during his tenure at Boulder. That said, you're forfeiting winning right now. You're saying we're okay not winning going into year 4 of Deion Sanders to have Deion Sanders as our head coach. Now, if they shock everybody and win football games, that'd be awesome. But they're riding this out. It's like if you told the Cleveland Browns, Cleveland, we're going to make you suck for the next 5 years. But each year we'll give you $1 billion so that maybe year 6, when the change happens, you won't suck anymore. They would take that. They say, look, we've always sucked. And for Colorado, 15 of the 17 years before Deion, they missed a bowl game. They were bad, a really bad program. So they say, look, if Deion sucks and we have 5 years of suck, but we get $1 billion each year, we're okay with that because the next guy will have a treasure trove of riches in Boulder. So I don't hate what's happening right now for CU.
Kyle Whittingham stepped down at Utah and took a lot of coaches, a lot of players with him. Some people, ruffled some feathers there. What's your take on all that? Do you think it was just kind of how business is as usual, or did Kyle Whittingham do it down and dirty to the University of Utah?
I think Kevin Harlan did it down and dirty more than Kyle Whittingham, and I don't completely blame him, Scott. I don't want to completely blame Kevin Harlan for what he put for Mark Harlan, I should say, the athletic director of Kevin Harlan's my coworker at Westwood One. Mark Harlan, the athletic director at Utah. Here's what I've heard from multiple sources inside is that Harlan got to the end of this and Whittingham wanted in. He said, hey, I know I said I'd retire a couple years ago. We put the head coach in waiting there, but I'd really like to consider coming back. And Harlan, he just had a very honest conversation of, you did this last year. We gave you another year. I'm not sure we can continue giving you this leash. Like, we've got to have some sort of commitment. And we've already got Morgan Scalley, who's going to be a great head coach, waiting in the wings. I think Harlan expected to mutually part ways or to say, hey, no, it's not going to work out, and that Whittingham goes away. And he had a couple donors in his back pocket that were trying to help him too. What happens instead, though, he doesn't go away, he doesn't go become an associate head coach in the NFL with his family. He's the head coach of Michigan. Like, just blow up in your face and ravage half the Utah staff, half the BYU staff, and a bunch of players from the Utah program. That is just DEFCON 5, worst case scenario for what Harlan was expecting out of the Whittingham. And I think maybe he does it differently if he knows, if he has the hindsight that that's how Whit would attack this. But Whit said, I still want to coach. I'm not just going to roll over. I know I told you I was going to retire. I was mistaken. I'm sorry. I still want to coach. Either I do it here or somewhere else. Harlan said, I'll call your bluff. Go do it somewhere else. He's now the head coach at Michigan, and that gutted some serious pieces for both Utah and BYU.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and I can't fault the players or coaches to want to go to Michigan. I mean, that's a dream situation for so many people. All right, Brett Yormark. It feels like the conference is too quiet. Like he always talks about he's open for business. What do you hear? Is there anything? I don't know. I want something big. I want something dramatic to happen, and Brett usually delivers on that. What can we expect? Any exciting news from the Big 12 in the near future?
We're kind of wandering in the desert right now, Scott, which is not all that bad. It's playing the long game of waiting for the ACC to truly fall to the wayside. And they're teetering in that direction. With Miami's success this year, they're looking at the conference and saying, oh, thank you for paying us all of our money from the playoff, but you're still not giving us the money we deserve from a TV contract standpoint. If the ACC is paying $35 million to Miami, $35 million to Clemson or Florida State, and the Big Ten of the SEC are paying $55 million, those schools understand what they are losing by not being in a larger conference with a better media rights deal. Those schools sued the ACC because of its grant of rights, and now within a couple of years, 2029, 2030, they'll want to exit. That's when Brett Yormark goes on the attack. The last big piece of news was Memphis calling, saying, we'll give you $200 million, partnership with FedEx, just let us in. And Yormark said, we are a conference, not an orphanage. We don't have to take you. You would not make us better. No. The ACC, there are some schools in there like Louisville, NC State maybe, Georgia Tech, that would be ripe for the Big 12, and this conference will attack them when the time is right. That time's just not right yet.
All right. Really appreciate your time today. Of course, you can hear Drake Toll on Locked On Big 12 and on Westwood One. What's this channel? What time are you on Westwood One?
Yeah, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern time. So be 4 to 7 for you cats that are out there in Utah. And then on Sirius XM channel 375. And there are a ton of local affiliates all across the country that have been great to us this first month of the show. So, the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One, and Locked On Big 12. And Savannah Bananas season kicks off here in a month.
Yeah. Go Bananas, by the way, and have a great day. Really enjoyed it. It's great stuff, by the way. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks, Scott.
All right, there you have it. Drake Toll from Locked On Big 12 Sports. Of course, is the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One, Sirius XM, and the Savannah Bananas. You don't want to miss that. So much more to come. Actually, no, I think we're done. Thank you for tuning in today. Until then, we'll see you then. This has been the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell.